All right, before we even start filling in 8 through 11, here's what I want you to do. If you ever struggle with identifying how we can tell if they're parallel lines, this is something that can help you. So if you take a highlighter, or you can even circle if you have a pencil or pen, what you're going to do is you're going to zigzag. So if I'm starting at 1, I'm going to go to its vertical angle 3, then zigzag over to the opposite side, highlight 5, then highlight its vertical angle 7. So you're zigzagging all the way across. So you can do the same with the other side. You don't need to, but that helps you to see. So 2, 4, 8, 6. So this is going to help us identify a few things. If lines are parallel, so lines like L and M, and you have a transversal line, then there's a couple ways you can tell that they are going to be parallel. One of the things is that the corresponding angles, so again showing this as angles for short, are congruent, so going to equal the same thing. So one example is angle 2 being congruent to angle 8. So again, it skips over a line and one angle to get to 8. So let's say if 2 happened to be 100 degrees, that means 8 must be 100 degrees. If these two are the same, that can prove by the corresponding angles that L and M are parallel. Now there's other ways we can use the other angles as well. With alternate interior angles, so alternate interior angles are congruent. So an example of that one would be something like 4 and 8. So again, showing that those two are going to be congruent to each other. So again, if 2 and 8 were congruent, then that shows they're parallel. If alternate interiors are congruent, then it also shows they're parallel. So notice how 4 and 6, these are also corresponding angles to each other. So if those were congruent, also shows those two lines would be parallel. So another thing is if lines are parallel, then alternate exterior angles are also going to be congruent to each other. So far, just about the same for everyone. So as an example, you can take a look at angle 1 and angle 7. Now it's going to work for 2 and 6, we can already see that, and 1 and 7 it would be the same thing. We know since 2 is 100 and it's on a line, 1 must be 80 degrees. So if it said that 7 was also 80 degrees, that would again prove that these lines are parallel. So here's going to be the weird one. Put a star or something next to number 11. This is the only one that's different between all 4 of them. They can be parallel if same side interior angles are supplementary. So meaning add to 180 degrees. So as an example, notice here how I haven't written anything for angle 5, but there's 2 different parts that you can look at. Notice how 5 is a vertical angle to 7. So they must be congruent. You could have also seen from 6 or 8 that it's going to make a straight line, so it needs to add up to 180. So notice if you add 4 and 5, has to equal 180. If that's the case, then that is another way you can prove that L and M are going to be parallel to each other. Okay, so get ready for number 12. That one's going to be a very quick video, again kind of reiterating the same process that we just went through together.